Hey everybody, good to see you. Hope 2020 hasn't been a total disaster for you. I know despite all the problems going on, it's actually been a pretty good year for a lot of us in the statuary business. More people staying at home means more people spending money on stuff for the home and yard, which means statuary sales have actually been pretty good for a lot of us in the business. In fact, I had to stop taking orders for a lot of the businesses I supply because I could not keep up with the demand. And my online sales of statuary, best I've ever seen. So despite all the problems in this world, it's actually been a help to certain businesses with molds. But because I've been so busy, I've been slacking off on the videos. I promise I'll get back to them soon. I've got some good ideas for videos coming up here very shortly, so please stay tuned. Today's video, however, is one I don't necessarily like to do. It's where I need to get some information out there because there's some bad info circulating. And I know it is because we've been getting a lot of emails from people over the last few months. And it has to pertain to rubber-only molds. Now, I've got an old video where I show how to use a rubber-only mold. The idea is that you bury it in the sand and basically use it like a regular mold, but you got to make sure it's the right shape in the sand. Not too bad to use. They're not my favorite just because with a mother mold around this, such as this mold, where you got your rubber mold and then it has a fiberglass shell that holds it in place, these are so much easier and quicker to use. So if you're going to be making statuary on any even medium size to large size scale, you're better off getting your molds with the mother mold around it. But if you're just starting out, only going to make a handful of molds, maybe you only want to make a couple for gifts or that, latex molds on their own are usually cheaper than getting them with a mother mold. So I understand the appeal. I even sell a few. If you go to my website, you'll see I have a section of latex only molds. However, if you look at that selection of molds, you will notice all of my latex only molds are fairly small. You know, here's a couple of them that I actually sell as latex only. I've got a couple that are probably close to this size, not much bigger. And here is the problem that has come up. Over the past few months, I've received numerous emails from folks that from somewhere are obtaining very large rubber only molds, and then they can't get them to work right, and they're contacting me to see if I can maybe make a mother mold for it or help them out with it. First of all, if it's not a mold that I made, I don't work on them. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. Plus, in a situation like that, it's not really going to work. You can't make a mother mold off of a loose latex rubber. It's just not going to work right. But the problem is, there's information out there trying to make it sound like a big rubber-only mold is just fine and dandy to use. Not in my experience. Now, I grabbed this mold because it's just a very simple, plain mold. Now, of course, I make it with the fiberglass shell around it, so it's got a mother mold. Very simple mold. This literally just makes a tree stump. It's used as a bench leg, you know, stand for plants, whatever. Very simple mold. This would be hellish to do as a rubber-only mold, and that's even if it didn't have a seam in it. This is too big. The work just to bury this properly in sand, to get it to be the right shape, to have it hold in place when you pour the cement. And cement in liquid form, when you have the sand and gravel and the water in it, very heavy. And as you pour that into this, even if it's packed really well in sand, it's going to want to bulge out in areas. And just like if you dent a bread pan, every loaf of bread after that's going to have a dent. If this gets dented, your piece inside is going to come out dented. And that's what people are contacting me about. Some people are getting molds twice the size of this as a latex only, like big lions and such. And they're sending me pictures where they're coming out completely deformed, and they've tried them 5, 6 times, can't get a single one, and now they're like, it wasn't worth it. You know, it was a good deal at first, but now I need a mother mold to make it work right. And of course, I can't do that. And that's what I want to get through. Big latex only molds are rarely worth the trouble. I'm not going to stand here and say they don't work at all. I suppose if you put a lot of time and effort into it and really work with it, you can eventually get it to work. That would be up to you. However, definitely don't get them with a seam in it. Okay, smaller molds for latex only. I only do seamless, ones that just peel out with no seam. I'm seeing people contact me with molds, again, bigger than this, with a seam all the way up the back, and that it was sold as a latex-only mold. That's simply not going to work. They said they were told in the instructions to use zip ties to hold it together. Folks, zip ties won't hold a mold together, even this size, with a mother mold. I've tried it. You put the cement in, and as soon as you go to shake it, the zip ties don't hold from the pressure of the cement and want to snap. They're certainly not going to hold a mold this size or bigger rubber only in sand. It's just going to press it apart and deform it. So again, I don't know where this information's coming from. Doesn't really matter to me. I just know it's out there because I've been getting so many emails over the last, I'm going to say 4 months about this issue. So I just want to say buyer beware. I don't care where you buy your molds, folks. Just remember that certain molds are meant to be used a certain way, and when it comes to latex only molds, they primarily need to be fairly small, and they need almost always need to have no seam. I suppose if it was just a little mini seam because it had a little spot sticking out, you could probably get away with that. But just you know, really keep an eye on what is being sold out there, so you know, because what might seem like a good deal in the beginning may end up being a disaster. So again, just getting that information out there. I know some people don't like that, but I can't help these folks that are emailing me other than just to tell them buyer beware. Keep an eye out if you subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I am going to have some more videos coming up very shortly, some painting videos, how to. I'm actually going to do a video where I show from beginning to end the entire process of casting a statue such as this in a mold, so people that are new to this can see exactly what's involved. So until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your 2020. See you.